welcome back to the show. A story now about the families of victims of terror attacks and sons and daughters who have been murdered, working together, coming together for peace. I'm joined here by a special representative for the Parent Circle Families Forum. This organization brings together not only bereaved Israeli families, but also Palestinian families as well. I'm joined here in our studio by Roubi Damlin. Roubi's son, David, was murdered while serving in the IDF. He was shot by a sniper and now works with the Families Forum. Thanks so much for being with me here on the show. Talk to me about your son, David, how you keep his memory, his life alive through your work with this group.
Well, I think ever since David was killed, the first thing I said is, you may not kill anybody in the name of my child. And since then, I have been working on the ground and all over the world. So millions of people know the story of David, that he was a student at Tel Aviv University, that he was studying for his master's in the philosophy of education, and that he was part of the peace movement.
Your son was getting his master's, as you mentioned, in philosophy of education. What do you think he would say about the educational work you're doing around the world with the message you're spreading?
I think he would be very proud. He was part of the peace movement, and often I feel him around when I'm talking. You know, it was part of how he grew up, so how could he not be pleased with that?
Can I ask your opinion, the debate that is growing louder in Israel's parliament, Israel government ministers, about the inclusion of Palestinian families, of Palestinian killers in this group, to hear their stories, to hear their families' backgrounds? Do you think the controversy is fair? Is it worthy of discussion to whether or not it's correct to bring in Palestinian voices as well?
When you talk about human rights, it's not a selective idea. Human rights are for all. And so if we don't think that, then we would quickly go down the drain. We are supposed to be a democracy, in which case there is room for everybody to talk.
Some people say that it's, at some level, it's a fine line between trying to apologize for murder and terrorism.
Nobody's apologizing. I don't believe in any violence from any side. But I do think that an organization which deals with human rights, ACRI, civil and human rights, that has been working with the Ministry of Education for something like 40 years, should be given the credit that they know what they're doing when they talk about human rights. And you cannot manipulate bereaved parents to sign letters to say that you should cancel a conference which is about the rights of labor.
When you hear those words, that the cancellation of meetings and conferences, the accusation that you're anti-Israel, what does that mean to you as a mother who lost her son in the IDF?
Look, I paid the highest price that you can possibly imagine for the things that I say. But I do know that if I want to live in a country that is safe, my neighbor will have to be safe as well. It will have to be free. I also look at the whole way that this is handled, at the anger that exists. Everybody has the right to demonstrate. Everybody, even when we were at a special ceremony that we have every year, people who didn't agree with us threw bags of urine at us. I find that very difficult to accept, but it's a right of a person not to agree with what I say. And I will never, ever fight with another bereaved parent. That is not my role. As
a bereaved mother, as someone who keeps your son David's memory alive through your work, last question quickly, tell me, what is the vision? What is your vision for peace, so that your dream that no other mother has to go through what you had to go through?
Look, it's not my dream alone. I'm part of an organization of 600 families. That's why I came here today. And our long-term vision is to create a framework for a reconciliation process to be an integral part of any future peace agreement.
All right, Roubi, thank you so much for being with us, talking about your son and the work that you do. Again, the Parent Circle Families Forum. Thank you, Roubi, so much. Appreciate your time. We'll stay here with Middle East news.